Did I manage to find any more games off my list? No. But my wife did. So we've come back to Doncaster for this year's video game market, and I've brought my list again to see if I can knock off any more of those games, and hopefully I can find a nice boxed Sega Saturn. Come on, let's have a look.
You alright?
Hey, you alright?
I'm after a Sega Saturn. What's it like, condition?
I don't know, it's that's what I said.
Oh, right.
And Saturn, 130.
130. What's the difference between a Mark 1 and a Mark 2? I know the buttons are different and they've taken the you know, the drive light off. But other than that, I don't think it's any different. I think it's just the look of it, isn't it?
It's a nice one, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll get that. So, as you've just seen, I managed to pick up a nice boxed Sega Saturn Mark II. Now, ideally, I did want the Mark I because I tend to buy the first issues of a console. For example, my Mega Drive from my childhood is the original model of the Mega Drive. I've got a first issue Master System and I've got an original PlayStation. But, like I said in the video, there's no real difference. So they've changed the shape and the colour of the buttons and they've removed the disc access light. Other than that, it's exactly the same, apart from obviously the pads are a different shape. But the box was nice, the price was nice, and the console itself is even nicer. It's in absolutely immaculate condition. There's not a mark on it except for a little tiny scratch there, but yeah, it's like new. It's like it's never been used. And I picked up a few games to go with the Sega Ages I got a few weeks ago from Eclipse, and the first game I picked up is a classic racer from Sega themselves, and that is Sega Rally Championship. Now this was £11, but the guy let me have it for 10, just so I didn't have to break into a 20. And I did say to myself, when I start buying games for the Saturn, I just want to get the exclusives. So a lot of the games on the Saturn you could also get on the PlayStation. So I just wanted to get games that were exclusive to the Saturn, and I've already broken that rule by buying these two games. So the first one is Bobble featuring Rainbow Islands and Buster Move 2 Arcade Edition, and those came to 35, and because I was paying cash he let me have them for 30. And the final game I picked up from the same guy I got the Saturn from, which was Hidden Chest Gaming, and it's another classic game, and that is Daytona USA. Now this was 20, but he let me have it for 10 because I picked up the console earlier in the day. So I bought the console and left it with him while I had a look round, and when I went back to pick it up he sold me that for a tenner. And you know me, I always like to have complete games, and all these games are complete with instructions. Now back to the footage of the Doncaster gaming market, and did I manage to find any more games off this list? Yeah. Not a bad price. You know, my other boxes are probably similar condition. It says complete though. All right. Not got that Jurassic Park, have they? No. So it wasn't me who found this game, it was actually my wife who spotted it, and that is Super Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. Now, I've been after this for nearly 30 years, so I've had Super Star Wars and Super Return of the Jedi since the mid-90s, but I could never get hold of this. And let me just say, thank God for the password system, because this is a tough game. Now, in order to get this gameplay footage, I found some passwords online just to get some footage of the other levels. But yeah, this is a complete game with instructions like you saw in the video, and that is another game checked off my list. The next game I got is for the Master System, and it's a bit of an odd one because in the arcade it's a two-player game. In fact, I think on most systems it's a two-player game, but for some reason on the Master System it's one player only, and that is Forgotten Worlds. So you've got the two buttons on your Master System control pad,
and you automatically fire, so the computer is firing for you. All you've got to do is just rotate your character clockwise and anti-clockwise. So it does take a little bit of getting used to, and again, that is complete with the manual. I think this was 22, but he let me have it for 20. It's just a shame it's missing the hang tab, but it's still nice and complete and displays well. And the last thing I got is a bit of a curiosity. I've never seen this before, and I'm still not sure what it actually does. So it's called the Turbo Extended Basic for the Commodore 64, and it says 45 powerful commands make pokes a thing of the past. And at first I thought it was a cartridge, but it's actually a tape. And I loaded it up, and you'll be seeing the screenshot there, and it just basically turns your Commodore Basic into an extended Basic. And there is a manual with it, but it doesn't really make sense. It's sort of like computer jargon. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure what you're meant to do with this once the program's loaded, because apparently you can manipulate sprites and music. So do you have to load the game after you've loaded this? And if so, do you have to use it in conjunction with an action replay cartridge? But yeah, let me know in the comments if you know what the hell this is used for. It's just a bit of an obscurity for the collection, and it was just £7. So whether I actually use it or not is another matter. And before we get to the final segment of footage from the gaming market, I just want to say how well organised this event was compared to the one in Leeds in February. So that one had 2 entry times, one for the early bird at 11 and one at 12 o'clock for general entry. This time, however, they'd staggered the entry times, so there was one at 11 o'clock for the early birds, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock. And because of that, it was a more laid-back atmosphere. It did get a bit hectic around 12, 1 o'clock, but after that it died down, and I managed to get some decent footage of the games on offer. And I also want to say a thank you to the security lady who let me up on the balcony to get my shots of the traders setting up and to do my intro. Anyway, back to the footage. So after a successful day at the gaming market, we headed back to the hotel for a well-earned rest, as the following day the game hunting continued, this time at Doorway to Darkness, but more on that next time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.